What's up? Welcome back to the Cyrus King Show. It's your host, Cyrus King. In this segment, we're going to talk about the astral and why it's important to your reality. I think I made a video. I put out so much videos. Sometimes I forget which platform I did what. But I think it was a non Patreon episode where I said the two most important things, and I mentioned two most important things, and I went into color specifically, right? And color is extremely important, obviously. And if you can get into, you have a list, the astral will be one of those realms or aspects of spirituality that's so important. Whether you call it the inner planes, whether you call it the spiritual world, it has different names. If you say the spiritual world, there's parts of the spiritual world that's not the astral technically. The mental plane is different than the astral. So technically, if you say spiritual world, you're saying the mental plane, the astral plane. But, whatever. That's semantics for now, right? And the reason why it's important, and I can give you 10 reasons. And I'll do 10 reasons for the public, and I'll do 30 reasons for my Patreon episode. So you guys should sign up for my Patreon section, right? And I gotta be like, all right, so 10 reasons, right? And mind you, one of the beautiful things about the astral is experience. So if you haven't experienced it, you haven't experienced it yet. Like when you haven't experienced astral, what you're supposed to do is really take from other people's experiences. Now, of course, you don't know if their shit is real, right? So you have an open mind, you don't believe anything, but you take it and use it as a foundation. And when you're doing your spiritual work consistently, and it's not gonna come easy. It's not gonna come easy. You're lucky if you remember a dream at night. Most people probably remember 2-3 dreams a night, a week, not a night, a week. And then when you remember those 2-3 dreams a week, you kind of remember them in pieces, right? So it's not something that's gonna be. What's funny? You probably end up experiencing it more, kind of through meditation or like when you're in a state between sleep and wake, which is kind of like a deeper type of meditation. You experience it more there than if you're waiting to go to sleep and you wake up in astral and you remember everything. You remember who you are from our plane, then you're astral plane, you're the same guy, and then or girl, and then you wake back up and remember all your experiences. Man, that could take years, but it's still important though, because whether you remember the astral or not, it affects you. In fact, even science says you probably have 10 dreams a night for the most part. And if you have 10 dreams a night, it's kind of one of those things where you probably remember one at the best. And the other 9 that you don't remember, you probably don't remember them because, well, there could be many reasons, but they're probably the ones that's not as close to your everyday reality. So imagine having 10 dreams a night, you remember 1. The funny thing is, the other 9 that you don't remember affect you just as much because they go into your subconscious mind. So you really can't get away with it. The astral is not something you can get away from, right? So mind you, when I say the 10 Commandments of the astral, remember, this is according to me, right? You don't have to believe it. What you do is, and if you guys want me to start recommending books, it's like a book on Rudolf Steiner had a book on the astral plane. It was a really good book, right? Like I recommend shit from initiates. I'm not into the learned man stuff. So if you ain't taking no oath, it's gonna be when it comes to spirituality, it's really hard for me to recommend anything like that. But that's neither here nor there, right? The 10 Commandments of the astral, the 10 facts of the astral plane. 1, everything that happens in our plane, in the physical, happens in the astral. But everything that happens in the astral doesn't happen in the physical. That's interesting, right? 2, time is centered in the astral plane, past, present, future. Can be seen. When you project enough, can be visited, right? 3, energy from the higher planes comes to our plane via the astral plane. So the astral plane is the bridge between the higher realms and our realms. So think of the astral plane as like a middle ground, right? 4, before you take a physical body, you're in the astral plane, right? Sometimes a year before you take a physical body. And when you die, you return back to astral plane. Now, some people stay in the astral plane, or some people go to higher planes depending on how they live their life on Earth. Right? So that's interesting by itself. And then you sleep, you go in the astral plane. So you're in the astral a lot. Right? Fifth, the astral is a place that is has a huge range. So obviously the astral is much bigger than our realm, but you can make the argument astral is bigger than, when you talk about the occult, astral may be bigger than any realm because all realms come through there, right? And then the astral has realms that are not as connected to our reality, right? So the astral size can't even be measured. 6, because the astral, part of the astral is not spatial. Some of it is, some of it isn't. There's parts of the astral that science can't measure. Science can't see any of the astral now, right? But if science was more advanced, there will be parts of the astral they can see, but they're not as advanced yet, so they can't. But then they're going to be all parts of astral because it's not based on space. Can't measure it at all. Can't be measured, right? And that by itself makes it an interesting concept because it's basically when you're a magician, when you're a witch, when you're a yogi, when you're a shaman, even psychics who are not trained, who just going off by their gifts, they can sense the astral. Sense why they can do that stuff. So the astral is a place of many possibilities in that sense. 7, when you're in the astral plane, you can stop time. Not in our realm, but in the astral plane. Not only can you stop time, the astral plane records everything in our realm. So when people talk about the Akashic records, they give it a fancy name. It's just astral records. It records everything. The astral actually records everything, and all moments live in the astral. So if I'm recording this is June 25th, right? 4:31 p.m. That's a place in the astral plane that I can go back to. Anyone can go back to and look at that or listen to it. It lives forever in the astral plane because time is centered there, but the astral is beyond time. So time itself is centered there, but the astral itself has aspects of it that have nothing to do with time, right? 8, everything, because of how the world's designed, this may not be, I don't know if, I can't speak to this is natural, but in the astral plane usually is the opposite of what it is in the physical. So men run the physical, women run the astral. The white race has the most power in the physical, indigenous race has the power in the astral plane. It's the complete opposite, literally. We celebrate youth in the physical plane. In the astral plane, we celebrate elderly, this experience, old age. So, number 8, I'm losing track of I don't have this written down. I'm doing this freestyle. I think this is number 8. Number 8, when you die in the physical, that's your birth in the astral. So if somebody died July 3rd, their birth will be, in the astral will be July 3rd. Right? So somebody dies in the physical, right? And number 9, the astral is where all the universe, everything comes through there. So because everything comes through there, when you're a spiritual novice, it's probably good not to do certain things at nighttime. Because you're accessible to the greater universe. If you don't know how to, train yourself and put up shields and protect yourself, protect your mind. So, unless if you really inexperienced, they would always say, don't even do rituals at nighttime. The only rituals you do at nighttime is praying. Because the whole universe has access to you. Right? Number 10. Life means something else in the astral plane. So, when you look at a rock, when you look at a tree, when you look at a plant in the physical, and how plants are alive. They don't seem like they're intelligent. Sometimes they don't seem like they're alive. You see that same thing in the astral plane. A rock is walking around. People call it a gnome in the astral plane. The water is sentient. People call it undying. Right? For lesser mer or water spirits, if it's a little bit more complex, they might call it a mermaid. Right? So a glass of water in the physical, if you have astral eyes, you see it, they're looking at you. So life in the astral has more possibilities and it has more potential of life. And even non-life in the astral plane has intelligence which some people could perceive as life. So that's 10 astral commandments. I could go to 100. But I think it's enough for now. Siris King. Till next time. Peace.